All right, Mr. Wagner. Here we are. We're back. We're in different rooms now. I hope that this sounds all right because it's a little funky in my earbuds. You were saying that yours is a little echoey, but I think we'll manage. We're in separate states, separate places, not on the same couch. Where are you at, my man?
I'm at a Wingate Hotel in Sioux City, Iowa. Sioux City, Iowa.
Okay.
Um, Unfortunately, it's about 8+ hours away from you, which
Yeah.
means that after tonight's game, we have an 8-hour ride, which brings us into the Oconomowoc area about Friday morning, probably around 6 to 6:30, depending on stops. Terrible, terrible.
I was thinking about this last night as we were texting and I was sending you, there were some videos that came through on the trail cameras. I was like, you know what, I got to send these. They finally came through. I'm like, it's like 11:30. I'm up, I'm working, I'm doing whatever. And I'm like, I'm going to just send these to him. Sure enough, you read them. And I'm like, oh, that's right. He's on the bus. Oh, wait. No, he's not on the bus. It's like only Wednesday. So here we are. I mean, it is what it is, but you don't sleep well on the bus, so you're not looking forward to tonight. You're going to catch a nap tomorrow. So we're recording this actually on Thursday because my co-host would be sleeping if we did it tomorrow.
It's
It would
not.
just be me and that's it, and nobody wants that.
Uh,
So well, good. Well, okay, so first and foremost, did you go on your factory tour yesterday?
So that is what I want you to do. I definitely want you to mention them. Chad with the marketing department. So we had
Okay.
rain here and they did
Okay.
everything they could to get me in. And it did not work because I had to take the guys to the,
Okay.
but it got flipped just because of the rain. But they usually do. Again, like he said, usually their
Okay.
tours are on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, or Fridays and Saturdays. And they did. They bent over backwards for us to try to get us in. I couldn't do it because of the schedule and with the rain here. So I left them a good message. They did not return their message yet, so they're probably a little disappointed, but I gave them plenty of notice. As soon as the rain hit, I called them on Tuesday. I let them know Tuesday.
Right.
As soon as we were banged, I'd let them know that I couldn't make it. So not to come in early. Left it on the voicemail, but again, great company as far as the customer service communication wise. They were great.
Yeah.
They tried. They did everything they could to get me in. Being in Sioux City, but yeah, it did not work. It did not work.
And that's all right. You know what? Because you were concerned about the rain coming in, anyways. And I'm sure everybody in Iowa is thinking, we'll take the rain because if it's been anything like what it's been like up here,
Yeah,
they're probably desperate for it.
yeah,
So, and with those guys working in the ag business, I'm sure they get it. I'm sure they've had cancellations before. And
yes.
but what an honor to have the Paul Wagner come in and want to tour their facilities because you're a fan of their product. And this is Fimco, right?
Yes, Fimco. They are. They were really good. Everybody that was there that I've talked to, obviously I didn't go there, but everybody that has answered the phone and put me in the right spots did everything they could. So I just want to tip my hat to that because it was a rando thing. It was a total rando. And I think we caught them off guard a little bit. I think they were like, okay, what are you looking for? Or what do you want? What is this? And I go, there is a saying, there's no free lunch, but believe it or not, we have your product. We use your product. I want to
Yeah.
continue to use your product, and we're just going to give you a little review on it. I wanted you to see it. There's nothing we want. So it was good. It was good.
Well, and with you happen to be there, and then, having the free time or before the game got canceled, having that free time, you know, why not do something like that? I mean, otherwise you're sitting in your hotel room or you're, doing who knows what. And it's something to fill your day at least while you're away from town.
Exactly, exactly. And like I said, what they did for me and for us, I didn't want to change. Hey, can you back it up a couple hours? Hey, do you mind if I come in at noon?
Right.
No, they made an exception. They found the 10 o'clock slot, and unfortunately, the 10 o'clock slot didn't work. But yeah, no, unfortunately, but still, the
Yeah.
product works and we use it.
Yeah. And you know what? I mean, the pictures that have been coming through on the food plot. I mean, I haven't been there in whatever it's been 2 weeks or 3 weeks, but I mean, everything looks like it's kind of toasted up and it's all kind of ready to be tilled, and it's all kind of right on schedule basically. And of course, I mean, we're talking about doing the planting here in the next, say Saturday through the following Sunday, just in that planting window. Well, of course, now we get to play the waiting game. When is it going to rain? Is it actually going to rain? Because how many times now in the past month have we anticipated rain, thought there was going to be rain even like the day before, and then all of a sudden we don't get the rain, So I think we're just at the point now where if we're like, there's a bunch of days in the forecast that are actually like heavy thunderstorms, which would be perfect, the early part of next week and then like into the tail end of the following week. So there's more than enough opportunities here in those coming days. But I am going to be heading up to go pick up the seed tomorrow. That will be. So I have some stuff going on in the morning, and then I have like an 11:30 meeting that's going to be up over that way. So I'm going to just jump on 45, head north, go up there, meet those guys, talk to Scott at FISIS, and yeah, I mean, I think we're both very eager, very optimistic about what the fall could bring for us. We just need just a little bit of weather cooperation is all we need at this point.
We should get it. We should get it. We'll be fine. We'll be fine this year.
Yeah, I mean, how much longer can we go without rain? I guess I just don't understand. Like, at least the grass is like starting to turn because we did have a couple of days of some nice precipitation, but it's gonna come. I mean, there's no way that we continue this, and yeah, I mean, I think we're both just excited about that, and hell, I mean, I just am excited to have a partner to be a part of the show, but also somebody that we know we can text and we can call to say, hey, this is what's going on. What do you think we should do? Can we make some adjustments? Let's look at this long term. What does this actually look like in a partnership? And, we're talking about spring planting and all that stuff already as well. So, going to be great. I cannot wait for fall. Here we are. We're 5 weeks out, and I'm reluctant to admit this, but I probably should start shooting my bow a little more than I currently am, because it's like the final countdown. I mean, here we go. We're getting into it, and yeah, it's going to be here before we know it. So when does if I remember correctly, does your baseball season go into October, or when is that like playoff stretch typically fall? Is it September or October?
September. So as soon as Labor Day's over, Labor Day's our last game, and then the playoffs start there. Okay. So it will run into opening day event. So if we're at home, you can be sitting in the woods. I'll come home and I'll see if you saw anything, and we'll go from there. But yeah, we'll run into probably mid-September, maybe like around, I'm going to say the 20th, I believe. But again, you know what? I like to go out and sit, but you know me, and we've talked about this before. That early season, just to be excited and the blood flowing. That's all I want.
Right. But you may be getting that in other areas if you guys make another run. And so where are you guys sitting? Give us a little rundown. Is the team in first? I mean, you guys have been playing really well. You had a little bit of a stretch where you were on a skid, but that was because you had players getting acquired in the majors and you were kind of like interchanging your rotation. So where do you guys sit right now, and what's kind of the outlook?
We're still battling. We're still battling players, losing players, getting players and stuff like that. So we are still in second place. We're a game behind those Milwaukee Milkmen, but I think we're 10 games over. We're 10 games over 500, right around that mark. We're okay. We're sitting okay, I should say. Everything, obviously, nothing's a guarantee, but we're sitting in a playoff spot. So that when the playoffs start, we should be playoff. I think for us to get out of the playoffs, I'm going to make up a number, and I shouldn't even say that because baseball players are so superstitious. But it's like I think I think we have like a 13 or a 15 game lead as far as being in the playoffs. So the playoffs will be a part of us.
Okay.
And then how far we go, we'd like to go further than last year. Last year we won the division, won everything. We had the best record, and we got knocked out. The year before that, we battled and we got into the playoffs, and then we got knocked out. The year before that, even we battled, and then the guys just got tired at the end. So we're learning in our 5th year. We're learning how to play and do things right. But I hate to say it, the best record in the league last year, we don't make it, and it kind of mirrored our Milwaukee Brewers last year. So we don't want to do that. So hopefully the Milwaukee Brewers go to the World Series this year, and so do the Lake Country Dockhounds go to our Wolf Cup World Series in the American Association.
Yeah. Well, it's been super fun just to like be a part of this year, because we came out to a game and it's like always, I mean, there's always something happening at that stadium, which is so amazing to me. I can't remember when I drove by. Maybe it was on Sunday.
Huge farmers market and stuff, I think.
Yeah, and there were like all of the 10x10s out on the field, and just such a great way to put the facilities to use. Obviously, it's a new stadium, a couple years old, and just when you guys are on road stretches or traveling or going wherever, I mean, it's nice just to be able to occupy the space and put it to use. And it's kind of a staple here in Oconomowoc that, I mean, it's a spot to go. It's something to do, and a very, very reasonable night out with the family.
Right, and the local archery shop, Whale's Tails Archery, is a sponsor of the stadium, and they do promos out there too. Those guys, we did something at a fan fest where they sent. Gosh, you can't really fling arrows or even field tips, because if it gets caught in the turf, it's going to screw it up. So what they did is they made it.
Or if you release early, you send one onto the freeway.
So we put a target out at second base, and you go up on the top of the one of the loges or whatever that is, and and then the arrows had golf balls on them. So you tried to hit this thing, and they do a lot of things out there. So again, what it does, what the farmers market does, is what the archery program, what the Whitetails Unlimited dinner did. It brings people that don't go to the game to see the facility and understand what it is. So people like you, and if we could get Chris to come down, like we had mentioned, I know we just kicked it around a little bit, but it'd be nice, because I think people drive by the stadium a lot and don't know what it all entails. Sure. It's not just baseball, but it can be baseball entertainment. It can be baseball entertainment for a reasonable price.
Right. So let me, and for anybody that wants to go to a game, it's super simple. It's just dockhounds.com. One of the things that Red Hot Tim Scott always had to like check himself on before he would actually say the website name. I want to jump into a couple things here. So I'm so glad that you have your Ducks hat on. There happens to be a pretty major movement right now with waterfowlers, that there is some legislation or a conversation being had about the duck factory. And I'm like, I mean, I get it, I'm new, but I would think like, oh, okay, well, it's like whitetail paradise. Well, I had no idea what this was. And I'm okay saying that because, I mean, I haven't been doing this forever. Do you know what the duck factory is?
Is it Stuttgart, Arkansas? Is it like the hub of duck hunting? Is it where everybody wants to go, or is it literally? Is it a location? Is it like the Mississippi Flyway, or is it something?
Basically, yes.
Okay.
So the duck factory refers to the Prairie Pothole Region, the PPR, which stretches across North Dakota, South Dakota, Montana, Minnesota, Iowa, and southern Canada. So a pretty healthy flyway there. And this area produces more than half of North America's duck population every year.
Okay.
A lot of ducks are born there.
Yeah.
All variations, so like your teal and a lot of that. So I asked ChatGPT to like simplify this, because there's a whole lot that goes into it, but it just says here, if you've been seeing "don't drain the duck factory" everywhere, here's what's going on. The duck factory is the Prairie Pothole region in the Dakotas and part of Canada, the breeding grounds that produce over half of North America's ducks. Right now, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service is reviewing rules around drainage near federally protected wetlands. Conservation groups are concerned that those changes could make it easier to install drain tile, so you're flooding and drying your swamps and your marshland, drying out critical nesting habitats over time. Farmers argue that some of the current rules are too restrictive, while hunters and conservationists say weakening those protections could reduce duck numbers for generations. That's why this issue has gotten so much attention. So currently, we're sitting in a 14-day comment period where you can weigh in, sign a petition, reach out to your local senators and legislators that are involved with this specifically in that area, but people all across the U.S. are able to like sign the petition, say don't do this, don't change the regulations. I can understand both sides of it. You know, farmers want to be able to access that land because the majority of this territory is privately owned farmlands. Okay, there are public easements to the public lands that are available within this territory that the federal government has purchased from these, like they have purchased these easements over time.
Okay.
So like over all of these years, they've been buying access routes through all of the lands that are private.
Okay.
So as we all know, there's always something with it that you may have easement access, but like, is the farmer a pain in the ass about it? Is the farmer spreading manure across those easements? You know, like who knows like how sour somebody can get when it comes to this because they're concerned about their livelihood. I mean, it's really hard to like battle against that when it's legitimately people's livelihoods that are at stake here. But at the same time, to be able to make some of these major changes where they would install these drain tiles so that they're able to manage the water levels themselves instead of what nature has already had in store, it's an interesting conversation to have. But hey, if it's working right now, I don't understand why we need to change it. It makes me nervous then that what is the goal here? Like, what is that change and how does that affect populations in the future? Let's try and make the right decision here because it's a pretty critical half of North America's waterfowl is bred there. So I don't know. I don't know. I didn't know if you were familiar with this at all. I didn't know if you had heard any of these rumblings or like seen any of the videos with that. What are your initial thoughts or
Yeah.
just in general?
No, I don't, unless there is an issue or a problem that needs to be addressed. But if it has been going status quo forever, I've known that flyway zone. We've hunted it before. We've been down there. We've been into Arkansas. We've done all these things.
Right.
We've jumped ponds. We've jumped flooded cornfields. We've jumped ditches for pheasant and for ducks. I don't know what I understand easements, but if you're granted an easement, the easement is there. If there's issues, I guess I just don't know the center point of why it is even being addressed. Like we talked about before, when there's boundary limits, especially out west, something has come up, something has become a problem or a nuisance, and I think it's kind of vague there. Are we trying to Are we trying to reproduce at a higher rate? Are we trying to reproduce? We want the birds to be able to continue where they were previously. What are we trying to do? But I guess if you're going to make it, if you're going to do anything like that, and if the DNR or the state, is going to take care of these things, these issues are hopefully a benefit to both the hunter and to the farmer, like you said. Hunting is one thing. Hunting is great. We love it. It is great. It is not a livelihood for some. For some it is. But for a farmer whose easement land runs through his 600 acres and he can't get a combine through there or something to that effect, because that marsh is flooded out, or every springtime right now when he wants to go in and spray a pesticide or he wants to spray something and he can't get in there because it's flooded, the marsh flows over the easement and he can't get to his property, then I'm fine with it. But if it's If it's something else, I guess I
Right.
just don't know enough about it, like we've talked about.
Yeah. Well, and I think you bring up a good point. You know, it's no secret that farmers use sprays and all of that stuff. If we've been doing this for all these years as it has been run, well, those pesticides and stuff must not impact waterfowl populations in any capacity, or they must be far enough away, or, whatever it is. They've been spraying their crops for all these years. So if that has not impacted the population, you know, I, I don't see the change. I mean, I don't understand the entire thing, but as it is most of the time when these legislations come up, because there's like so much that goes into it, and what's like the hidden truth behind it. Everybody was all up in arms that like the public lands thing with Trump when he wanted to acquire all of those, and it was only like, oh, it's all part of a big grand plan so that he can do mining. And it yeah, okay, but let's see what happens before we just automatically assume, you know? So it's hard to say, hey, we're going to acquire all these public lands and then immediately just shit on the idea.
Right, right,
That's not fair either.
right,
But
right.
I think it's good that we have these periods so that not only can the Ducks Unlimited and like all of the major like
The waterfowl,
players
yes.
in waterfowl can make their voices heard. I mean, that's the nice part about America, is that we can say what we want and we can be, activists for whatever we're excited about or whatever is a passion project for us. That they give us this window. You can fill out a petition and say, yeah, this is a terrible idea. They can kind of get a temperature gauge then and see like, hey, we're going to like really screw over our constituents here. This is a terrible idea.
Right, right, right. And you got
I mean, it's good that we have that.
and you got representation from both sides. So obviously, it is the issue that the core issue is being, I don't know, addressed by both sides, whatever it may be. So again, like you said,
Yeah.
taking a 14-day window of any kind of comment is taken into consideration. It is great because you have to read that and stuff like that. But I don't believe anything would be that area has been the hotbed forever. It's a livelihood for so many, whether it be bars, restaurants, little hotels, little dive motels that we've stayed at. Hell, I remember going down there, shoot, maybe 12 years ago, and just staying at those little dive motels. And I remember one time,
Right.
big hailstorm, and we were out hunting. We came back, and that night, a big hailstorm came in, and one of my buddy's trucks got beat to hell. But no, you know what? There's a lot to it. It's hunting, it's agriculture, it's livelihood. It's everything that we talk about when we talk about northern Wisconsin with the lack of snow. What is the Tavern League doing? How are these restaurants surviving? How are bars surviving when there's no snow in the winter months and there's no snowmobile trails? So again, everything comes together for a reason, and I don't think anybody's going to get screwed. But sometimes, just sometimes, we dip a little too much into nature, and that flyway has been there forever. Stuttgart is beautiful. If you've ever been able to hunt those flooded traps, those traps are beautiful. I mean, birds are coming in
Yeah.
nonstop. And you gave us a number oh man, about maybe a couple months ago, about how many birds come through, and you threw like 1 million. And I was like, you're
A million
nuts.
birds a night. I mean, that's just insane.
Yeah. So, but again, I hope it, because it's such a beautiful place to hunt, especially if you're a morning hunter. It's great to wake up to that sunrise and see birds coming in and
Right.
landing right into your set.
Yeah. I just think like last year, obviously first year that I went out and did duck hunting, did some early teal and all that. Man, talk about waking up with the world. It's just so beautiful. Like, it's cool to see the sun come up over treetops and to like see that morning dew on the fields and all that stuff. There's just something about seeing a sunrise in a marsh that is so special. And I can't wait to do that again this year. I'm so excited about that. But that's just it, is that, I don't know. As you were saying that, the first thought that I had was, are we just too naive sometimes? Like when some of this stuff comes up, like are we too naive to just think, okay, well, they're going to just act in our best interest.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden we lose a privilege of whatever that is, or we lose access to 1,000,000 acres, or, whatever that is. And that's what I think it was. It was like, I don't know. It was something like over 1,000,000 acres. What was the number? 1.5 million acres. The Prairie Pothole region contains tens of thousands of easements covering more than 1.5 million acres, many purchased with the federal duck stamp dollars over the decades. So like you pay that duck stamp fee every year. Part of that money went to buying those easements out in this Prairie Pothole region.
Right.
Which is, of course, what you want your hunting dollars to go towards, because we know so often it doesn't come back to us hunters.
Right.
Yeah, and so here it just says, why is everybody making videos? Organizations like Ducks Unlimited, Delta Waterfowl, state waterfowl associations, and many hunting personalities believe this review could become one of the most significant waterfowl habitat decisions in decades. So obviously there's a lot of concern around it, and there's reason to be concerned. And it's good that there are people out there that are not as naive as us, because we certainly, like, we don't know everything, but it's not our everyday life either, So, but yeah, it's just, I don't know. It feels like every month we've got a new one of these major legislations that are coming together. It's like, why don't we just relax for a while? Isn't like the world crazy enough? Can we just like worry about shooting our bow and shooting our shotguns and doing whatever else we want, instead of worried about, things being infringed on?
Right.
2026. What else do you expect, all right, so that's that. I guess more to come on that. Whenever we get updates, we will certainly be posting about that. I did look up, because now that we're in the beginning of August, we have to think about buying extra doe tags, right? And remember, in years past, I always feel like December 10th is the date for applying for turkey permits, bear points, all of that stuff. I felt like August 10th was always that day. But this year, it is beginning August 17th. Bonus antlerless harvest authorizations will be available. So August 17th, Forest Zone, Northern and Central. August 18th, Central Farmland. August 19th, Southern Farmland. And then August 20th, all zones will be available. And if you remember from years in the past, nothing has changed. You can buy one additional tag per day until they run out. And it's usually like, if you try and buy them online, there's like a 50,000 person like queue or waiting lobby or whatever. It's like buying Morgan Wallen tickets trying to get these freaking antlerless tags. And then there's all the old guys like my dad who refuse to do it online, will just go and stand in Fleet Farm, and they'll get there like 3 hours early, and there's 100 people in line waiting to buy their extra bonus tags. So that is coming up. $12 for a tag. You can buy one tag per day until they run out. And of course, you just have to like find your zone, find your management unit, all that stuff. And you'll be able to do that. So
the antlers, those bonus tags are non-weapon specific. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes. So you can use it for either. Mm-hmm.
So I just knew it, but I clarified.
Which is nice, because like for us, we have the extra one, or we have two extra doe tags for up north. And it's nice because if we don't see any, if we don't take a doe during bow season when we're up there, we can always at least have one for gun season then. And then that way, it's not that like, it's not a panic of, oh my gosh, I have to see a buck. It's okay, I just need to be able to encounter a deer, and then, we'll be all right. But Yeah, I mean it's nice because like obviously when my brothers or my brother and my nephews come up, like we want them to have the opportunity to be able to at least shoot a deer and be able to process it and clean it and get sticks and all that stuff. Um, you just never know during gun season. I mean, it's just the wild, wild west up north, so it's just you never know. But yeah, I mean, which is just another thing that brings us one day closer to deer season, which is super exciting. I mean, it's going to be here before we know it.
Are you real quick? Are you also going to buy? You mentioned it. Are you going to buy a fall turkey tag?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, are you?
No.
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 Why not?
No.
Why not, Mr. Wagner?
No.
Okay.
Oh, I don't. But we do have them, and you know what it is. It is.
They're still there.
We like it.
They're still there.
I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say
So
no right away. I just say
remind me,
I haven't. I haven't.
yeah. Are does the season open up for fall that you can shoot male or female?
I believe so. Yes, correct.
Yeah, I think that is I think that is accurate.
And they'll come
Okay.
through. They'll come through. You know it. You've sat there, and all of a sudden you're like,
Yeah.
where in the world did these 27 toms come from? And you're like,
It's just unbelievable. Like, how are there so many in one group? It's just insane. I mean, I think back to that video, and I think there were legitimately 17 toms that were in front of me.
crazy.
And I'm like, if I had my bow and I didn't have my rifle, I would have for sure shot one, because you don't want to blow up the spot, obviously, for the afternoon. And when they come through at 4:30
Right.
and it's dark in 45 minutes, you're not going to blast off a round just to finally shoot a bird.
Right.
Yeah. So I think that's where it definitely like comes in handy to have your bow with you. All right, so we got like 10 minutes to go here. We cannot go without talking about our campfire controversy of the week. So I just saw this not too long ago. A guy that I follow, a friend of mine that I've met a number of different times, was out shooting his bow. Somebody was talking about like, oh, what's your setup that you're shooting, yada yada yada, whatever. Are you? I'm not even going to make like a definitive statement. I'm just going to leave it like open ended. We're going to talk about the like greatest rage the last probably 10 years is the arrow weight debate. Okay. So a light arrow, faster arrow, you can get your kinetic energy with that. Or do you shoot heavier, slower, and also like a similar 70 foot-pounds of kinetic energy? Now, I have posted very publicly how passionate I am about this. And I am a light arrow, speed kills for a variety of reasons. So I think I shoot about a 400 to 425 grain arrow, and I'm shooting 300 to 315 feet per second. And the guy that I saw yesterday posted his arrow weight like 585 grain arrow, which I think is obnoxious. 100 or 125 grain broadhead, all of those things, shooting like 230 feet per second. Now I realize that a 70 or 80 foot per second difference doesn't seem like much, but when you have an arc on your arrow and you are literally talking about millimeters or milliseconds of difference, my thought has always been, I want to get my arrow there as fast as possible, because from the time that I release the arrow to the time that it makes impact, I want as little movement as possible there.
Nope.
And if I have to worry about weight and you're more focused on the impact that you have with the kinetic energy, which realistically, like I've looked at the numbers, and the numbers basically balance out to be basically the same thing in terms of kinetic energy, because there's like the formula that you can do. I think people are wasting their time buying into the heavy arrow debate. I have shot 8 deer with my bow, and I have never once not had a pass through. And maybe that's because I practice so much. Maybe that's because I actually am like taking the time to put an ethical shot on an animal, all of the different things. I get it. There's variables included with this. The animal moves, it ducks, it does whatever. You can be just as efficient with a light arrow as you can with a heavy arrow. There are just so many things that people have bought into the past few years. I don't buy it. And that I've posted so many times, I will die on that hill. Speed kills. Weight does not. Buy a lighter arrow and kill more deer. Okay, there's my soapbox for you, Wags.
So I looked mine up. So when I go
shoot like a 900 grain arrow,
no,
you're trying to kill like elephants.
I think mine, you're saying 4 to 450. So I didn't know what the GPI, grains per inch.
Grains per inch. So if you have a 8.2 grains per inch arrow and a 29-inch arrow, you would just do 29 times 8.2.
Gotcha. So I'm at 11.
So I don't know if you know offhand how long your arrows are, but
I think they are 20. 29 sounds. Does that sound short, or does that sound?
I think mine are. Well, I have a. Yeah, I think I have a 28.5-inch draw length, and I think I have 29-inch arrows.
Okay, so then mine are just a little bit shorter than that. But I use the 5MMs, the full metal jackets.
Right.
So I was looking at the grains per inch does vary from 11.3 to 17.7, depending on your factory components. I wanted to know.
Sure.
But I do remember when we were at the ATA show, and there were arrows sitting there. And remember, there was one arrow that was like the diameter of my pinky finger.
Yeah.
And they had them all lined up. And we went to the Easton booth, and you walked in there, and I told the rep, "Get him out of here. He doesn't shoot Eastons." And he laughed, if you remember. But
don't even look at him. He does not. He's not a client of yours.
But I would tend to agree with you on that. But again, I shouldn't say we. I've never went out with my bow, and I never shot an elk. I've never shot. I don't shoot distance. We know the guys from the archery shop. They pull back. I mean, I'm exaggerating. 130 pounds, and they're shooting, 700 yards with their bow. I'm not taking a 70-yard shot. I'm not pulling back. 75 pounds or 70 pounds. So I don't know, but I think mine plays good, and it's something that I only go there, and when I buy them, they cut them, they set them, everything is there for me. I don't cut my own. I don't do that stuff.
Sure.
So mine are already done, and I don't know it. So I guess if that archery shop ever went out, I guess I have to take those arrows and then just have somebody match it. I'm sure it's easy to do, but I'm very comfortable with mine. But if I'm moving into the new bow, remember I use that smaller Matthews. And if I go into the arc this year, or at the end of the season, maybe probably not going to go to your lift. I'll go to the arc and apply that new sight on there. Then it's going to change something. So I'll probably have to get refitted and learn more about it. But I've just become so. Here I am, Paul Wagner, checking in, blah, blah, blah. Put me up on the computer. This is what you get, Paul. He'll go back there, cuts them up, give me the full metal jackets, and that's what I've been shooting the whole time.
Yeah. And I just, the Ranch Fairy, this like YouTube channel is like sold his soul to getting people to shoot a 600-700 grain arrow. I just think it's so obnoxious because so that same guy last year, I shot an outdoor course, like a outdoor 3D event with him, and there was this like valley, and you were shooting at an elk like through a valley. It was like basically like level. What people seriously have to think about with that when you're shooting a really heavy arrow is you're no longer getting a flight path that is flat. So if you're in a tree stand and you have leaves or you have foliage around you, or you're shooting through a smaller clearing, it's something else you have to think about. And is that really what you want to be thinking about when you're trying to kill an animal?
Right.
No, I don't want to,
No.
at least.
No.
And so you have to consider that, and the longer your arrow flight is, the less and less kinetic energy it will have behind it. So, I guess that's something that I've never understood. Like, I get it. You know, if you send a VW bug or like a GTI at a brick wall at 100 miles an hour, or you send a semi at a brick wall at 100 miles an hour, I understand that the impact is going to be different, but your kinetic energy number is your kinetic energy number. So if I'm shooting if I have a 70, we'll say, I don't even know what it was. I think I actually, oh, shoot. I know I have it somewhere around here. I had my last, it's going to try. Oh, here we go. Okay. So I didn't even think about this. So I'm shooting, I have the stats right here. This is from my last time going to buck rub. Okay, I'm going to just let that focus for a second. So lift 29.5. I have a 70-pound draw weight. My arrows are 28 inches. I was shooting the Carbon Express XRZ 400s, which is a 250 spine, a 100 grain tip, and my kinetic energy. So at the time, I was shooting a 375 grain arrow. That's so light. I've since had to go to a different arrow, and I'm like in that like 405 range now. I was shooting 309 feet per second, and my kinetic energy was 79.01. So in order to kill a whitetail, I know that I've seen this chart before. What kinetic energy is needed for whitetail? I was well above that. So most modern hunting setups shoot in the like 60 to 75 foot-pounds of kinetic energy range. You need at minimum 50 foot-pounds to kill a whitetail. Okay, so when you start getting into the higher, so like if my kinetic energy is 79.01, that's enough to kill an elk. So I guess I just don't understand, and I get it, I'm not that smart, but I don't understand how, if your kinetic energy is this with a light arrow and your kinetic energy is this with a heavy arrow, how can you tell me that your impact force is better with one over the other?
Yeah, I just, if a heavier arrow gives you deeper penetration, the heavier arrow has to be used, in my opinion, for bigger game. A faster, flatter trajectory like we use for close 25-yard shots on a whitetail is, like you said, good enough. I think I would probably tend to believe that the majority of the people use the faster, lighter arrow with the flatter trajectory and the faster bolt. I mean, I think that's what I would believe. That's what most people
Right.
use. I would think.
I,
Um,
I would hope so,
I
because
mean,
you'll
if
kill more deer that
I
way.
get it, if your thought is I get deeper penetration, but we're getting passed through, so it's like
Right. And that's what I don't understand. I mean, my buck that's in the basement, I shot at 40 yards, and it was not even a question. I mean, it was a total perfect shot. But okay, what it all comes back to is shot placement.
yeah,
Because if
yeah.
you hit a deer in the shoulder, I get it. Okay, that's not going to be that easy. Well, nobody wants to do that. Accidents happen, shit happens. And as we all know, the adrenaline starts flowing and things kind of get carried away, and maybe you get buck fever or whatever it is. It still comes back to shot placement.
Yeah, like we said, if it's a longer trajectory and a longer drop, and I get all those things, but shot placement for me and for I shouldn't speak for you, but for me is a comfortable rate. I ain't launching. I'm not launching.
Right.
You know what?
Right.
I'm not a. If we see deer, and we're fortunate enough to see deer that we don't take. And unethical is kind of a harsh word, but we
Right.
don't take shots that like do or die. This is my last day on my $5,000 hunt, and I only had 3 days to
Right.
go. I'm gonna.
Right.
So
Okay, that might change my opinion a little bit.
yeah, but yeah. So again, the topic is, but what I wanted to say is before you continue on, is I thought your controversy, which is one that is debated most times, all the time, was your broadhead selection. That's where I
Oh,
thought you
yeah.
were.
Okay, well, we'll do that one next week.
Yeah, that's where I thought you were going.
No. Um yeah, it's something that I I'm not smart enough. I actually think I'm going to reach out to one of my buddies who's an engineer that builds arrows and like does all of that stuff. And I'm going to ask him the question, and I'm going to just see what he says, because like I said, I don't understand how, if your kinetic energy is exactly like, if I find an arrow that will also do 79.01 kinetic energy, how are they different? Your kinetic energy is your kinetic energy.
So
I don't know.
when you got your bow, how did you get
Yeah.
your first? Who set it up? How did you get your first arrow? Do you like? Were you given it from the shop, or did you do research yourself? Because me, I did it. I got the bow recommended by
Yeah.
one individual. I used that. That's what he
Mhm.
liked. I used it. I went through it. I didn't look into anything. So I don't do as much research on it as you do. And I was wondering, have you switched? What did you begin with your first time? And what have you evolved to? Obviously, you've given me reasons why, X, Y, and Z,
Mhm.
different variables, different numbers, different standards for yourself, different everything. But how did you evolve from initial A to where you are right now?
So I've always shot Carbon Express arrows. It's just like they've worked for me, so why would I change?
But when you
Um
first started, why did you go Carbon Express? Somebody,
I think honestly, I'm sure it was like somebody that I knew also shot Carbon
gotcha,
Express.
gotcha, gotcha.
Like, I have a buddy that his stepdad was an outfitter in Buffalo County, like when I was in school up there. And he always shot Maxima Reds. And I was like, okay, well, those are too expensive for me, but I'm going to buy something else. I'm going to just kind of get used to this. Well, now I'm also shooting like the top of the line Carbon Express arrows as well. I've just evolved to that point as like they swap out their SKUs, or they change the designs, or they do whatever with them. Um, which I'm like, I'm not, you were saying this about baseball players just having like, not, um, what is it? Not, skeptic, but, like talking about numbers and all that, superstitious. Wow. Total brain fart. I'm not like superstitious about it, but I'm very like if I find an arrow that works for me, I want to keep shooting that arrow for the rest of my life.
Yep.
So I'll like buy like 18 arrows at once and I'll shoot them for 5 years and then hope that they're still around when I need to buy more arrows. Nick Lenzendorf, I actually just was texting with him this morning from now at Loophole, but when he was at Faradine and we had him on, I had asked him the question. I like blew him up about it because I'm like, why do you guys keep changing these? Like, I was finally happy with these. I shot them for years. Now you're swapping out the SKUs, and I'm like, you guys, you're killing me, man. And he's like, I know, we're like going through a rebrand with it, and I'm like, it's like just another mental obstacle for me to get over for absolutely no reason, just because like that's how my brain works, I guess. But now I'm just shooting, like, I think they're called the Sables, like the XRZ Sables, which is just a step down from the Maxima Reds. For whatever reason, those Maxima Reds do not tune well with my bow. Because I had a 6-pack of them, because Nick gave me a 6-pack of them, and I just could not get them to tune right with whatever I was doing.
Gotcha.
So I just went back to those like Sable XRZs or whatever, which is just the replacement of the ones that I was shooting before. But trust me, I've thought about like switching to like an FMJ because they've been around forever and they're not going anywhere. Or like, what about this exciting new company called Victory Archery Products, and everybody shoots VAP TKOs? And it's like, okay, well, that sounds great, but I don't want to go through that change.
Right.
Because I'm weird like that.
And we saw Victory. We saw Victory at the ATA show.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had a nice big booth. They had a nice big booth, so they're jumping hard.
Yeah. Okay. We're 10:40, so I think you got to roll. Should we just run through like our 2 sponsors quick? I mean, we talked about FISIS already. We're super excited to get up there. We'll just run through it. So Charisma Customs in Delafield. Mr. Wagner, mark your calendar. September 19th is their huge annual car show. They just announced it this week. They've got, last year, they had 200 cars entered in their car show, and they had cars going all the way up almost to past the Home Depot and well beyond the Delafield Brew House on the road, on the frontage road there. It was unbelievable. They had over $40 million worth of cars there last year. It's unbelievable.
Great.
So if you are a car guy, or if you are like into that in any capacity, this is certainly worth your time to go show up, have lunch there, bring the family. It's from 12 to 4 on September 19th. I will be there if that is what gets you there. I guess I'm going to do video for them that day, but I can't imagine that anybody will show up for that. Maybe it'll be like hate mail or something that I'll get. But super exciting for them. It's a big fundraiser for a kid who had a brain tumor and who is still fighting and still going through treatment and all of that stuff. Kind of the VIP for the day, but it's a way that they can raise money for him. So September 19th, if you want to enter your car, if you've got like a sweet ride that you want to enter in, I think it's like $25 to enter, and top prize is $500 cash and a trophy. So not a bad day at all. And then HHA USA, we are coming up on our last event for summer. If you know a first responder, or if you are a first responder and would like to come to the event with us, this one is pretty special. It is at Lambeau Field. So I know I just talked to Chris on the phone yesterday about it. He's super excited. They've got like a whole week worth of activities that are planned for that week, including a golf outing like the following week that is like a charity fundraiser that they're a part of. But lots going on. So that is the weekend of the 20th, I believe, because I asked them to go to a Brewers game then. So the 20th, 21st, and 22nd is the final event, Mission 43 for HHA USA.
Perfect.
So if you are a first responder or if you know somebody that would like to go, please reach out to one of us and we will get you guys squared away. And then I won't say anything about it yet, but I had a great conversation with Chris. We're going to get a care package. Mr. Paul Wagner is going to get taken care of. And we're going to finally get this guy shooting not only a Matthews, but also an HHA site. How do you feel about that? You're going to finally be like, you're going to be unstoppable with your bow now, Wags.
Oh, I know. I can't. I need to make sure I get
to 25-yard range. You might be shooting at 50 here.
Well, you know what? I have a better chance of shooting at that than throwing a baseball 95 miles an hour again. That ain't going to happen. But I did run into, this is real quick, I forgot to tell you, obviously we have a couple people that we're going to talk to. They are coming in more towards the back end, towards more of the September, October time.
Yeah.
But one of the baseball players that I have right now is a pitcher at the University of Missouri. He came out, he's been playing pro ball, just got released by the San Francisco Giants.
Yeah.
But one of his good buddies actually decided not to play baseball and to live the outdoors. And he's actually, we're going to have him on. He's in Missouri, so he doesn't have to battle or compete against our buddy Luke. But he is in the real estate business, and he does run a program. So the conversation was just started with me and him, and he runs a place called DT Outdoors, and it's out of Missouri.
Okay.
And again, it's going to be nice to talk to a baseball player who has just transferred and not disregarded, that's kind of a hard word, but decided that his love was baseball, got him through college, got him his education, but baseball wasn't what he wanted to do. And now he's doing the outdoors thing. He's, like I said, he's selling a little bit of real estate, but he's also an avid outdoorsman. Sure. So we'll have him on as soon as we can, or find a spot for him, and we'll slot him in too. But curious to see, he's more in the Springfield, Missouri area between Kansas City and St. Louis type of thing. So he's not up in the Northeast like Zeke was with another outdoors, but he doesn't run a guide service. He just sells the land. And you know, again, I'm just looking at it, glancing at it, you're seeing properties in the $3.5 million range. It's just incredible. So I think we're looking forward to talking to him baseball wise, but then again on the outdoors.
Yeah. All right. Anything else for this week?
No, unless you got an extra plane ticket for me to fly back tonight. I don't have to ride the bus for $8.
I'll actually just send the guy with the helicopter that landed on Cabela's. I'll just send him down to grab you. How about that?
I saw.
Did you hear about that?
Yes, I got pictures of that little silver helicopter. The 69-year-old man who said, just a little too far for me to drive.
Yeah, it's no different than taking the snowmobiles to the bar in winter. I think it's a little different. Okay.
And he did that, and he didn't get in trouble. He followed all the regulations, FFA.
Yep.
Everything was good. He just it was good. It was a good, funny story. But I do have video of helicopters flying over my property and down low. So that was a question I wanted to ask you too. And obviously they weren't spraying fields because they didn't have any sprayers. But I wondered what was happening. But again, a lot of crazy things happening as we get close to deer season.
Yeah, right. All right, well, we'll wrap it up there. I know you got to run. So for Paul Wagner, Eric Tasker, another episode of the Flippin Sticks and Throwin Lead podcast. Find us everywhere that you listen, YouTube, Spotify, iHeart, everywhere, and go follow along. And then if you want to watch the episodes in the future, just check us out on our YouTube channel. You just search for Back 40 Media or Flippin Sticks and Throwin Lead. All right, well, we'll see you this weekend, I think.
Sounds good.
We're going to have to figure out our plan, but I'll let you know when I got the seed in the truck, and we'll go from there. All right, Mr. Wagner. We'll talk to you later.
All right.
See ya.